Hey guys, what's going on? This is Juan with Greener Grounds Lawn Service. For those of you who have been following my story and this community, I've been in business for about a year and a half now, and I want to talk about the adversity of going full-time and the struggles that come with owning your business and relying on your body's ability to stay healthy and work, versus working for a company that has benefits, that has paid time off, that has sick leave, all of those things that sometimes you don't take into account. I do want to precede the message by saying that I don't take back the decision that I've made, because I've been able to spend more time with my family. I've been able to be more control of my time, and ultimately it's up to me and how hard I work that correlates with how much I bring into my household to support my family. So I do want to talk about some of the adversities that I've encountered while being a full-time self-employed lawn care service provider. That sounds like a very long title. And I do want to start off by saying, if you haven't watched my video about one of the things that a lot of people don't talk about, and that is your health and your skincare if you're going to be out in the sun all day. This is usually the hat that I'm wearing. You guys have seen this hat in many videos, which it has that neck flap, and on top of that I put on sunscreen, something that's going to be it's got those it's chemical free. It's more of the natural stuff that kind of makes you look like a clown a little bit, but it's what works best for sun protection. Also long sleeves, and at times whenever I run through my long pants before I do laundry, I have to resort to shorts, and I put sunscreen on my legs as well. So I had a scare where I had a bit of a growth here in my face. It is virtually impossible to notice or see anything now, but I did have to go to a dermatologist with skin cancer in the back of my mind, and it was a very troubling couple of weeks leading up to that visit. However, and glory to God, it was nothing but just a skin lesion. I had gotten a little cut when weed whacking. Luckily I was wearing goggles, but you can only do so much to cover your face. Little rock popped up and it gave me a little cut here right by the bridge of my nose, and it scabbed up, and just like showering and scrubbing, it would keep falling off, and instead of scabbing and healing and going away, it kind of started to develop a bit of growth. So there was skin growing on top of skin, and it almost started looking like a mole. So my wife told me, you got to get that checked out, because in her family she has an uncle who suffered from skin cancer, and I have a second cousin who suffered from skin cancer. So it was definitely very front and forward in my thoughts for some time. Luckily it came back to be negative, and again, it was just a skin the skin was repairing itself on top of the other, and eventually they were just able to freeze it away. It scabbed up and it went away for good. Car troubles. Unless you're working with a brand new truck, unless you're working with a lease, and the money that you're making is, it's enough to cover all of your expenses, all of your bills, and maybe put some for a rainy day. Taxes come, and then that money that you put away for a rainy day, that kind of goes out the window. So I financed this particular pickup truck. I'm currently on a Ford F-150 2013 with 150,000 miles. And I financed this truck back in September of 2023. And obviously, as a used car, a very old car, you don't have the same warranties as if you're leasing a new truck. So first thing right out the gate, I had to buy a brand new battery for it within like a month. So I decided to, let me get a really good battery that's gonna have a great warranty so that I'm covered for 3 years. And so that was an expense. Brakes, which were recently replaced, the brake pads and the discs, that was recently replaced. I don't know too much about cars. Luckily, my brother-in-law, he studied at a technical school, and he studied being a mechanic for about a year. So he's really into cars. So he was able to, give me a hand. There was this one day I went to go work, and my car turned on, and it immediately shut off with a sign that said low oil pressure. So obviously that kind of tells you there's no oil pressure. But I didn't know what that meant. So I looked online, and just mechanical things are not my forte, and it just kind of sounds like Chinese a little bit to me. So I kind of told him, hey, this is what's going on. I sent him a little video, and he said, all right, I'm off of work today, so let me come through and we'll check it out. We found through YouTube and online forums that there's a particular sensor that can be damaged with time in this particular year and brand of car. So I ordered that, got it replaced. My brother-in-law was able to, pop the hood and kind of get that for me. So he replaced it, went to turn it back on, same issue. The car would crank on and then shut right off. So he said that could be the fuel injector. And with cars that, you gotta actually turn the key, you can kind of hear as the car is turning on, kind of like a sound if the fuel injector is getting engaged. So when we tried it, he said that he couldn't hear anything. So he said, okay, I may have to take it apart, and then when trying to crank the car to see if there's any fuel that's being fed to the engine. But he did a little bit more digging, and he said he found, again, in a forum, to, before anything, check the fuse box. So that's what we did. And when we went to check out the fuse, it was completely disintegrated. When he went to pop it out, the only thing that came out in one piece was like the little plastic head for you to, be able to plug in and plug out. Everything else had been rusted and corroded and just no good. Luckily, there was a replacement fuse for that particular fuse inside my car, and we were able to replace it, cranked it, and it turned on like a match. So that was a scary thing, because this was on a Sunday, and Mondays are very busy days for me. So I was already thinking the worst. I'm gonna miss work, and falling behind, it's gonna take a while for me to catch back up, especially in the middle of summer, because grass is growing so rapidly. My wife is starting school, so now I have to be home at a very specific time. I can't be working out late from Monday through Thursday. So catching up is going to be, I don't want to say impossible, but very difficult, and it would mean for me to sacrifice and work on weekends. Nonetheless, I was able to work that following day without any issues. Not to mention that my air compressor, my AC, has gone out the door. So I've been working without AC all summer and spring. I did try some Freon, but that really only cooled it down for about a week and a half. And right now I have the windows closed, just kind of having the fan blow some air so that I could record decent audio. without completely frying up in here. But it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle, to say the least. And something you guys may not know, because you guys don't truly know too much about my personal life, just kind of things that revolve around work and a little bit of family. But I am Colombian by nationality and blood. I was born there and came to this country when I was about to turn 8 years old. And being from Colombia, playing soccer, or as we call in Spanish, football, that's very much something that I grew up around and very much in my DNA. My dad used to play soccer recreationally, but still he instilled that love for the sport in me. And as of recent, this past week actually, depending on when you're watching this, so July 3rd, 2024 is when this happened. And to give a little precedence to what I'm about to say, in 2019 I had a complete ACL, MCL, and meniscus tear and replacement from playing soccer. But since 2021, I've been completely fine. No pain in that region. It was a completely successful surgery. And just now, July 3rd, 2024, I was out playing with some friends. I was very tired that day. I had a long day of work, and I was double thinking whether I wanted to go play that day. But I ended up going anyway. And what happened was I felt a pull, in some ligament in that same knee that I got operated on 5 years ago. And I immediately saw swelling and a difference in the knee. There seemed to be like a separation between the patella, which is like that knee bone, which is, you know, when you bend the knee, it's kind of like the bone that sticks out, if you will, and where my calf starts. I forgot what's that muscle. Is it the tibia or I don't know too much about anatomy, but I definitely saw a separation there. When I was feeling it, I could feel this very sharp, acute pain there. And this was on a Wednesday night. I was not going to be working 4th of July. You know, being your own boss, you kind of can schedule yourself around certain holidays, especially if you have plans with the family. But I felt that, and I had to limp off the field and ultimately stop playing. Right now, I have my knee wrapped. My leg is absolutely swollen, and it's filled with liquid. And I just came back off from mowing a property because Friday, July 5th, I went to work, and it was a really packed day. I wasn't able to work as fast as usual because I'm working in pain. And it's tough. It's tough. I just did one property. It did have overgrown lawn. They only want me to cut once a month because they're on a budget. But I'm gonna have to say, hey, in order for me to keep coming here, we have to either increase to every 2 weeks to just keep the lawn at bay, or you're gonna have to find a different provider. Because this one property, which is, it's not a huge property, but I was there for 2 hours. This property usually takes me 45 minutes. And that's because of the pain. I'm working at half the pace, and it's rough. It's rough. I can't call in sick because if I don't work, I don't put food on the table. And it just has me, you know, just a little down. I'm sorry that I'm kind of putting myself out there, but it's really the only place where I'm voicing what I'm feeling. And sometimes it's easier to talk to strangers. You know, that's why therapy works. I don't go to therapy or anything like that, but I can see why it works. Just talking to a camera, to strangers, and yeah. So hoping for the best. Rubbing some creams that'll kind of help ease the pain, and some ibuprofen just to kind of cope with it, and just kind of hoping it's more of a tweak and nothing serious. I do have health insurance, but my deductible is quite high, and you know, since again my wife is going to school right now, I'm the sole provider for the household, so I can't take on paying all the bills and then paying these deductibles that won't allow me to, you know, put food on the table. So I'm sorry guys that this turned out to be a bit of an emotional video, but I just want to be completely transparent and talk to you a little bit about the adversity that as a business owner, sometimes you may go through, sometimes you may not. You know, if you're lucky, you don't go through any of this. And I know that some people have it a lot worse. Some people have it so much worse. So I can't say I'm not blessed, because I am. Right now it's 11:30. I'm able to come home. I was only behind on one house after being, you know, working a little bit slower. But I am able to come home on this Sunday and spend it with my family and just kind of find strength in them, especially with my daughter. And just put on a smile. Put on a smile, because everything's fine. And at the end of the day, I can't still work. It's just a little bit more difficult to get it done. But yeah, without further ado, guys, if you are new to the community, I would greatly appreciate if you liked, subscribed, and commented on this video. What have been some of your trials, you know, in starting your lawn care business in year 1, year 2, and if you're 5 years into the game, I'm sure you're dealing with different struggles. Maybe finding good workers, good reliable workers, because I know that's down the line for me, and I feel like it's a little difficult for me to delegate sometimes, because I feel like I want it done a certain way, and I haven't met somebody that I think can do it up to my standard. So whenever that bridge comes, I hope I'm able to cross it and find some good hands to help me out. But without further ado, again, I keep saying bye to you guys, but keep postponing and keep talking. So before I keep rambling on, take it easy. Again, this is Juan, Green Underground's Lawn Service, and if you're located in South Florida, we're happy to come give your home an estimate for the best, most personalized service in the area. You guys take it easy and have a good day.